Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today I am continuing my color series and today is obviously yellow. Got my yellow shirt on, my yellow earrings, and this yellow look. So if you want to see how to get this, just keep on watching. Hey y'all, so I'm starting off with my brows and I just comb them through with a spoolie, and now I'm using this Benefit brow pencil and I'm just kind of filling them in lightly. Alright, so now I'm using my MAC Potted Concealer in NW15 and this flat brush from BH Cosmetics, and I'm just using a tiny bit of concealer and carving out my brows just to kind of clean them up a little bit. And then next I'm using my Too Faced Shadow Insurance for my eye primer, and I just squeeze a little bit of that onto my finger and apply it to my lid and kind of let it dry for a few seconds. I don't like to set it with any powders because I feel like when you put the eyeshadow on top of it, it really sticks well if you don't set it. And the palette I just showed was the LA Colors Lemon Pop palette. It's like a yellow palette. It's really pretty. I'm going in with this really light yellow on a big fluffy blender brush, and I'm using that as like my base slash transition shade in my crease. And like I was saying with the primer, it just really makes vibrant colors pop. Like I barely used any of this color and you can see it on my eyes. Next I'm using this kind of medium brown on the same exact brush, and I'm just kind of going back over but focusing it more in my crease and then just kind of blending out the edges, just to kind of start deepening this up but to keep the yellow hue to it. Now I'm taking the darker brown that I showed you, and I'm taking a little bit of a smaller blending brush and applying that into the outer part of my eye. You can see I'm kind of like pressing it and then starting to blend that into my crease, and these colors just blended so nicely together, like I barely had to do any work. So yeah. Alright, next I'm using the darkest brown in the palette on that same exact brush, just a little bit, and deepening up those edges. Like I said, barely had to really do anything with these eyeshadows. They worked really, really well. Just adding that in and then kind of blending it all together. You can see here I'm showing you the three more yellow shimmer shades, and I'm going with the deepest one because it's like a really pretty yellow gold, and I really wanted you to get the like yellow pop for this look, so that's what I ended up going with. And I think I started off like with a brush and I spritzed it with like some setting spray and try to like put this shadow on, but I'm just gonna be honest, shimmers just tend to always go on better with your finger, in my opinion. See, I start going with my finger and it just goes on so much more smooth and like easy and packs a punch. And this color is just so pretty. You could really just recreate this look with, if you have like a matte bright yellow eyeshadow and like a yellowy gold shade like that, you could really recreate this look easily. And then I'm taking the brown little shimmer shade and just kind of adding that to the outer parts of my lid to create some definition. And now I'm moving on to my face. This is my No Pore Bloom primer, and I'm just, rubbing that in. Then I'm taking my Becca Ultimate Coverage foundation, and I'm just dotting that on my face. And then I believe in a minute I go in with the Clinique Moisture Surge Spray, and I just kind of spritz my face with that. Yep, spritz my face with that, and then I go in with my beauty sponge, and I'm just blending that all out. And if you're wondering like what exactly the spray does, I think this foundation in particular is pretty full coverage. I mean, the name is Ultimate Coverage. So I feel like it helps to kind of blend out thicker foundations better if you're using a sponge to blend them out. Like this foundation, it looks really good when you blend it out with a sponge, but it's a little bit more difficult to work with. So typically I'll use a brush with this foundation, but I really wanted to use a sponge today just because I like the way that it looks. So that's kind of why I like to use the spray on my face. Is just I feel like it helps the product move around a little bit, because with a sponge you're dabbing it instead of trying to rub it as much, and it's just way easier to move the product this way. I'm taking some and just blending that down my neck, because my foundation, I can never get it light enough because I'm so fair. So I always typically have to blend down my neck, whether you think it matches or not. It probably doesn't. So to be safe, I always blend it down my neck. Next, I'm going to go in with some concealer, and I'm just using my e.l.f. Camo Concealer and dotting that under my eyes, chin, on my forehead, and then I have a few blemishes. And now just to kind of like color correct a little bit, I'm using the Becca Ultimate Coverage Concealer, and this is in the shade Banana. Obviously, it's more of like a yellowy kind of color, and I typically will use this when I have on self-tan because I think it looks better than with me on my fair skin, but I just really wanted to use it today to kind of like color correct. So yeah, I'm just blending that out with my beauty blender again. Now I'm reaching for my Wet n Wild Photo Focus loose powder, and I just am blending out the creases under my eyes and then dipping my sponge into the powder and setting underneath my eyes. This technique really makes your makeup last. It's like my favorite technique because I have oily skin. If you want your makeup to last like a long time for several hours during the day, set your makeup with a loose powder and your sponge. I'm telling you, it'll work so good. And then I typically will like use a bigger powder brush on the rest of my face just to dust, because I only really set with the sponge in my T-zone because that's really where I get super oily, but you could also use it all over your face if you wanted to and really lock in your makeup. And now I am going to finish the eyes. I'm grabbing the lighter yellowy shades and popping those in my inner corner. And I believe I grab a small brush and put them on my brow bone as well. I really like how these shimmers turned out. This palette was $3 from Five and Below. Going back in with that light brown on a little pencil brush and going underneath my eyes and just putting a little bit of that. And now I think I go in with a small brush for my brow bone highlight, and I use the lightest shade. Oh, never mind. Hold on. I'm using this tiny little brush and the really bright yellow matte in the palette, and I'm putting that in my waterline to add a little pop. Sorry, I forgot about this. But I'm doing this, and then I'll do the brow bone highlight. If you have a yellow pencil liner, that would work for this as well, but I didn't have one, so there you go. There's the brow bone highlight. Oh my gosh. Alright, this is my CoverGirl True Blends bronzer. I'm just using this Royal and Lane Nickel brush, and I'm just kind of blending that out. This is a pretty like shimmery bronzer, so not much contouring is going on, but I think it looks nice with this look because it's pretty summery. I'm also just applying that to my forehead to kind of make sure everything is nice and evened out. And some of my nose and jawline. Now I'm just going over with my powder brush and making sure it's all blended out. And then this is my MAC Warm Soul blush, and I'm just applying that on my cheeks. I'm just taking a little bit of that loose powder again and just baking a little bit to kind of clean up my bronzer because I got a little messy. And I'm actually using the light shade in that palette that kind of has like a yellow tint to it, and I'm taking my tiny blending brush that's actually for my eyes, and I cleaned it off, and I'm using this shade as a highlighter. Sorry, I was people watching out my window. If you see me looking at something, that's what I'm looking at. But I just put that on my cheeks, and I felt like, obviously, since it's the same shade as like what's on my eyes, it pulled the look together very nicely. And I used a bigger highlight brush, and I blended it all out. And now I am curling my lashes, and I'm applying the Lash Princess mascara from Essence, and I love this stuff. It literally works so good and so fast. I like barely have to work on my lashes for it to they just look so nice. I mean, just look at how easy that applied. It's crazy. I'm going in with some clear brow gel. This one's from Essence, and I'm just kind of putting that on my eyebrows, and then I'm wiping off my bake. And then I think I'm doing a little bit of this Essence lip liner. It's just kind of like this nudie pinky shade. I just wanted something really natural on the lips, so I'm using that. And then I use this Estee Lauder nude lip gloss, nothing too crazy, on my lips. Okay, y'all, so this is the finished look. I'll kind of get up close for y'all. It's kind of more of a like a yellowy gold look. This is pretty wearable, but it still like is really yellow with the pops in the inner corner and on the lower lash line. But you could also leave off those things and just add like a regular inner corner highlight, and it would be more of a just like a yellowy gold look instead of so much a yellow look. But yeah, I really love this. I think that it's fun, but it's also not too crazy. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.